Hi. I wanted to visit with you all about some interesting topics. You know, we hear the words organic and we hear the words intentional and self discipline, and we think that they are words that are really opposed to each other, but actually they're not. And I was kind of meditating on this the other day and just thinking about being organically intentional or intentionally organic. Sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? But you know, the idea of organic, if you really look that word up, the word organic is not like we think it really means. It's just something without toxins, right? So we're having something without toxins. And so we think about an organic ministry, so that is a free, in your mind probably, and maybe not, but that would be a free-flowing ministry, right? You're just kind of showing up to the party, letting Holy Spirit speak, and that's organic in our thoughts. But the true thought of an organic substance is something that does have some fertilizer, but it is something with natural fertilizers and something without toxins. So I find that very interesting. And you know, self-discipline and intentionality seem like they're opposing words as well, right? So the idea that we can be self-disciplined and intentional at the same time. I love how Danny Silk puts it. He says, self-control is not the ability to say no to bad things. Self-control is the ability to say yes to something so completely that all other options are eliminated. Don't you love that? I just love that. And so to be an intentional person and to be intentional, that word actually means intended by design. Okay, so we are doing something on purpose. So I have to say that I really do believe that most people do things on purpose, even if you are organic, all right? Even if you are moving and flowing in the Holy Spirit, you are on purpose flowing in the Holy Spirit. And you're choosing not to do something, actually choosing to do something more because you love it more. Does that make sense? So you are being intentional, self-discipline, and organic all at the same time. Such an amazing concept to think about. And you know, I have a little example here. You know, I have some coloring in here, but if indeed that I am doing a lot of things, like I'm watching shows, watching all the politics and doing all of those types of things, and you know, my water gets a little bit on the muddied side, right? And so other times I'm trying to spend quiet time with the Lord, and you know, even though I am spending time with the Lord, and I want to have that pure relationship with God, but if I'm spending more time doing other things, then when I mix in my time with God, what happens is eventually my cup gets full, and it's still a little bit cloudy. Okay, think about that. It's still a little cloudy because I have some stuff in here. And you wonder why you're not seeing angels, why you're not having those experiences, is because what else are we putting in our cup? Well, then I get too full and I need a break from all the Jesus stuff, or from all the things that are really filling me up in the most purest sense. So what do I need to do? I need to kind of be intentional about what I'm doing. Intentional and self-disciplined in an organic way. So what does that mean? That means that I'm going to have to meet with the Lord and have that time, choosing the self-discipline of choosing something that I really want more than something that I don't want. That's the self-discipline. And by doing that, I am being intentional because I'm setting myself apart for that purity, to have that pure relationship, to clean those things out. And I am being intentional with that. Now, how does that play into organic? Because then out of this, the overflow actually is organic, and it begins to flow out of it's coming out of my pores. It's not a mixture, because it is that presence, that love of God that just flows out of me because of what? I was intentionally self-disciplined, and I had that time with God. And so that sounds like a lot of twisting of words, but really it's the reality of what we're experiencing. And you know, we all deal with this. We all deal with this, and we get our cup too full, and we can't put anything else in it. And so we run to the wrong things to comfort us, right? And so we run to those things that give us, if it's a food or if it's something else that gives us comfort, instead of the purity of where God is and what He'd like to do. So how do we do this? How do we clean this out a little bit? It's little by little, self-discipline, intentionality in an organic way. So that means daily I'm gonna set aside some time to have that time with God and just listen. And eventually what's going to happen is it's going to spread out into everything I do all the time. But I'm still going to be intentional. We should be listening and talking to the Lord every day, all the time, right? But I still want to have that date. Like if you're married, you know that. You could just keep going on and on about things, but the thing you need to do is set aside time with those special people, the people you love. You're seeing them all the time, but you want to set that time aside. So I do that, and I get that quiet time so that I can get filled up into everything that He has for me. I'm intentionally self-disciplined, and that I'm choosing good things as opposed to other things, because it's not an option anymore, because this is where I get fed. This is the life. This is where it flows out of me. And then I show up to the party, and what happens? It's just why are you here? Wow, we really needed you. What happened? How did that happen? Well, it's just coming out of your pores, right? Because you were organic. You were intentionally self-disciplined, and you became organic out of that. So I do believe that there's a place for all of it, but I do believe that we need to really spend that time. And I speak to myself because I need that myself. I need to focus. I need to say no to some certain things. I need to not fill my life with certain things so that I can fill my life with those things that bring healing and health and wholeness and bring the deep joy of God. And I pray that for you today. I pray that these words would make sense to you, and that you'd be able to see yourself as somebody who organically is self-disciplined with intentionality, doing things on purpose, that God might flow out of you by the power of the Holy Spirit, and that you would see your life just effervesce with His joy and His shalom as you get through this life, and find His presence in everybody and in everything that you do. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes.